Liebe Moshpit Army, hier ist euer Kajo. Vielen Dank, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt hier bei uns bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich habe für euch ein ganz besonderes Video-Interview und zwar haben wir Sum 41 getroffen, besser gesagt Cohen, welcher dort Bassist ist, und wir sprechen halt über die letzte Dekade der Band. Die war doch schon sehr, sehr turbulent, kann man das so sagen? Ich denke schon. Und im Anschluss lassen wir den guten Cohen bei uns in die Tasche ein bisschen rumwühlen und sprechen über die eine oder andere Platte, besser gesagt CD oder Vinyl, ja, aus der Vergangenheit der Band oder wo er selber etwas dazu erzählen kann, wo er eine, ja, sagen wir mal, eine Verbindung hat. Ich möchte nicht zu viel vorweggreifen, daher halte ich das Intro kurz und ich wünsche euch viel Spaß. Hello fans of Moshpit Passion, my name is Kajo. Right next to me, Cohen from Sum 41. We will talk about their decade, the last decade, and then we'll switch to our mystery bag and talk about the records which are in there. So, how would you describe the last decade? Do you have a word in your mind? Because for me it was like a roller coaster. You started the decade in 2011 with a new record as a three-piece band, and then 5 years ago there was some kind of hiatus, would I describe that? Because of individual problems of band members, and you came back as a five-piece band. Dave is back again in the band, and you closed the century, closed the decade with an amazing record.
Yeah, it's I think roller coaster is a good way to describe it. A lot happened. It's crazy that if you think back to like the last 10 years, I mean, we had Scream and Bloody Murder. Then Derek got into his alcohol problems. I ended up in the hospital, and then I guess we were off tour for about 2 years. And then got the band kind of back together when Derek got sober and healthy. And then, it was great to have Dave back. We're just kind of now 2 albums post all that. I think we're all feeling really good about everything, and we're touring a lot. We're touring kind of as much as we ever have before. Like we used to do tours like this in 2001 when we were 21, and now we're kind of back to doing that again. So it's been a crazy decade actually. I think you're right.
Do you ever thought during 5-6 years ago that the band is completely done?
There was a moment where I thought, the band was never going to happen again. When we finished the Scream Bloody Murder tour and then we kind of all went our separate ways, there was no plans for anything. It was just kind of, we all went home and we didn't know what was going to happen. And we didn't actually really speak. I don't think I spoke to Derek for over a year. It just was, all the friendships in the band were kind of deteriorating. And just the band was wasn't fun anymore, and the shows weren't fun, and like everything about it seemed like work. And being in a band is not supposed to feel like work. It's supposed to be fun, even though it's your job. I always find it fun, but it wasn't fun then, and so I think we always went our separate ways. We didn't have any plans for the future. So I thought there was a chance that the band was going to end for good.
You said something interesting, that you, for example, in Germany as big as 20 or 19 years ago with your 2 records. But do you also believe that when you, when you came together and and did the reunion thing with your comeback record, that you would be as big as today as 19 years ago?
Yeah, probably not. Like, you just never know, because when you have that much time off, it either goes one of 2 ways. It's either you're going to be bigger because people they're starved for it and they miss you, or people forget about you and you don't have fans anymore. So you just never know. And it did kind of start slow. Like we started just kind of doing shows without an album, and they were going pretty good. And then once we released 13 Voices, the first album after, was in Europe especially, it was bigger than we'd ever been in Europe, and so that was a good feeling. It's like, no one's forgot about it. It's nice.
I saw an interesting interview with you, and you stated that bands which came along around 2008, 2009 can't be big as Metallica, for example, and they also missed the big high peak of the music industry. Do you think something about that? I know you're also producing records, and you see a band which is very talented, and also with all the media and streaming, there's so many good bands out there, but they never can be like a second Metallica or something like that, second Offspring, Blink-182, something like that.
I think it's definitely harder. There might be one or two that can squeeze through and do it, but I think it's definitely harder because back when we were coming up, there was all these different things like MTV and radio, and I think bands like Blink-182 and even us and Metallica. Metallica was different because they were kind of big even before they were on the radio, or they were just big in the underground. I think the radio and MTV and stuff just propelled them into a different stadium atmosphere. But I think it's definitely different because there's not as much marketing behind bands anymore. Like labels don't take chances on bands, and they don't have as much budgets, and they don't do videos. Videos they don't mean as much anymore, and the streaming thing's good, I think, and you find out about new bands. It's a way to find out about new bands, but it's also like you just have so much. You're overwhelmed with all this new stuff, and sometimes you're like listening to Spotify and you don't even know who the band is. You're just kind of on in the background, and you have to kind of go over and be like, oh, who's that band? That's a good song. So it's just kind of different. There's just more to absorb, and so it's definitely tougher for bands to get to that stadium Metallica thing. All the bands that are like that big are all old bands.
But can you maybe imagine, besides producing, playing in a band, to, let me say, being a promoter or creating an own label, something like that?
Do I want to do that? I do produce bands, and I don't know if I'd ever want to be a promoter. But producing bands is fun. It's just you have to, what I always tell like young bands that I work with is like it's not ever just something that you can just put an album on and expect it to be big. Like there's a pretty good chance you're not ever going to be on the radio. There's a good chance. Videos on TV don't exist really. Put your video on YouTube, but there's millions of videos on YouTube. Who's ever going to find it? So you have to work harder than ever now, and it's all back to like kind of DIY stuff. It's all to do yourself. No label is going to give you money for marketing and take chances on you. So you have to just go do it yourself. And that's kind of how the punk scene started, and hardcore music and all that kind of stuff. So it's like take that aesthetic and apply it today to any band, whether you're a folk artist or a metal band, or anything. You have to just do it yourself.
During your career, you also met, I guess, a lot of producers and cooperated and worked with some. Is there anything or a producer which came up in your mind where you say, oh, he's so great, I want to apply his, I don't know, working technique like Rick Rubin or Trent Reznor or something like that? This is also influencing your work.
We worked with Jerry Finn. Was like he did all Killer No Filler, and that was an interesting one because we were so young and we'd never done a big album before, and so we didn't really know how to, we didn't know what producers really did because it was our first album. And he was different because he wouldn't sit beside you while you played. He'd go wait out in the room, but he just made the environment of the studio really fun. Like every day it was really fun, and he was really funny, and he introduced us to a lot of like comedy programs that he was into. So the whole atmosphere of the studio was very uplifting and fun. It was not like you go in and you're like, oh, I gotta record today. It was like you looked forward to going in and hanging out with him and joking around, and then you play, and then so that kind of thing stuck with me. Like the environment in the studio should really be fun, and you should want to be there, not feel like it's work. And then Rick Rubin we did one song with, and it was completely a little bit. He's definitely different because he basically just puts his head down and just does stuff. And everything he does, most of the stuff he does is brilliant. So you kind of just let him do his thing. And he's not so much of a jokester as Jerry was, so they're just kind of different. But I like the fun vibe thing that Jerry kind of brought.
Nice. So I want to come to the second part. Like you can see, here's a mystery bag full of records. I want that you just pick one, and maybe you can tell a nice story which came up in your mind, or maybe from a producer view, which do you like, or maybe from a bass player perspective. And just grab one.
Just grab one.
special story behind that record which influenced you during your teenager years?
Yeah. Well, I started playing music in 1994, and it was because of Nirvana. So this would have been coming out that year. And but I actually think I listened to Nevermind first, and I bought this. This was, I don't know if this was even out. Like I came out a couple months later when I started playing music. But yeah, this was I listened to this all the time. Yeah. And yeah, definitely Nirvana was pretty much the reason why I started playing music.
Yeah. All the grunge theme. I know you're very familiar with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. And the thing was about Nirvana is, when I started playing it, you realize that the songs are so easy to play. Yeah. It's like 4 chords, 3 chords. So it makes you believe as a 14-year-old, you're like, well, I can play what they're playing. Yeah. So maybe I can do this. But, you know, it's a little bit more to it than that. Sure. He's also a brilliant songwriter, brilliant voice.
And also the producer, Steve Albini.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, great producer, produces also different kind of bands.
Yeah. And definitely has a style. Yeah, especially his drum sounds, like, you know, it's like that Steve Albini drum sound. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, the next one, please. Sure. There's also CDs in there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay,
yes, our own.
We teased that before.
Yeah.
Your debut record.
Yeah, this would have been like the debut full length that we did with Jerry Finn. Yeah. But yeah, we were just kind of like shitheads back then. And I mean, Jerry taught us a lot about recording because we were good, but we were like 20 years old. We were out of high school, so we didn't know how to play that well. And we definitely didn't know how to record properly. There's a difference between playing live and actually recording. And Jerry taught us how to like really record properly. So that was a big learning experience.
I remember when the songs came out on MTV, everybody was like into this, back then the genre called pop punk.
Yeah.
And freaking out. Oh, there's another big band besides The Offspring and Blink-182, because they were established at the time. They had previous major records did in the past, and then around 2000, 2001, 2002 was the high peak of the genre, and here especially Germany, like you can see here now, it was very famous, and the people remember that, and they're coming back. There's also, I guess, a reason why you're playing in Germany in the biggest arenas. Yeah. You know, so it was a very influential record for a lot of people here.
That's amazing, yeah. And it's crazy to think that we were only 20 years old when we did it, so yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so let's pick up the CD, final one. See, our time is running out. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And you know that band, right?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, also known as?
Yeah, Billy Talent.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know much about this album, but I know about Pez, and when Billy Talent was coming out, like we took them on tour. Actually, when Does It Look Infected came out after this, Billy Talent had like some demos, and we got sent the demos. I remember listening to their demos on our tour bus, and we took them across Canada on basically, I think, their first cross Canada tour. Yeah. And then I remember Try Honesty coming out just when we got home from that tour, and then they exploded. Like no one knew them as we were taking them across Canada, and basically like the week we got home, it was like, oh, they're gonna be bigger than we are. And I know they're big in Germany, and they're doing really good here. But Ian, the guitar player, is one of my best friends. So I just saw him on New Year's. We went out for New Year's together, and they're all great guys. And they returned the favor in 2013. They took us across Canada. Yeah. So
crazy. Yeah. Nice story. So the last question is, because our magazine is called Moshpit Passion. Yeah. Our artist telling a nice Moshpit story from their back. Maybe we have a silly one, crazy one, light one you want to share.
Yeah, actually, I remember before I was in Sum 41. Obviously we were all friends. We all went to high school together. So I went to a Sum 41 show, and I was like helping them as kind of like basically a roadie or whatever. And we were playing at this place. They were playing at this place called the Opera House in Toronto. And I went to stage dive while they were playing, and everyone was and no one caught me. I hit the ground so hard because there wasn't a lot of people there. Like no one really knew who Sum 41 was. So I was like, I was just excited and jumped off the stage, and I think we have video of it. It's just kind of like the seas parting. Yeah. it's not really supposed to how it's supposed to go. People are supposed to trying to catch you. But there's actually like, I came and everyone just went, and I hit the ground. And it was a big stage too, so.
Is it on YouTube or on your VHS?
It would have to be a VHS, yeah. I don't think we'd ever put it up, but I know, I don't know even who has that footage, but it's somewhere.
So yeah, thank you very much for your time for the interview, and thank you very much again. Wish you all everything good for your live show tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
Maybe you want to say or share anything to our viewers, you can do it now.
Yeah, thanks for the support, and we're happy to be back in Germany. We're doing 6 shows here right now. I think that's the most we're doing in any country, so in Europe. So yeah, thanks for the support, and we'll be back in the summer for more festivals.
Yeah, thank you guys, and bye.